so the third thing is maybe something that we don't always think about when it comes to our finances, but I guarantee it does affect your finances. Hey, what's up? This is Layla from DebtFreeSweetie.com, and today I want to come to talk to you about COVID and your coins. Let's go. So it's been a minute since I've been on, but I had to come back out to share a couple of these tips with you. I know a lot of people are hurting by the COVID-19 situation. Some folks are furloughed, some are out of work, some are continuing to work, and some are working in stressful conditions on the front lines. But regardless of which of those groups you fall into, now is a really good time to be intentional with your finances. So let's get started with a few tips. First, let's talk about food, because everybody has to eat, right? So when you go to the grocery store, remember the basic rules still apply. You want to make sure that you never go when you're hungry, because you're going to want to buy everything in sight. And you also want to make sure that you start with a list that you stick to. That still stands. That was important before COVID, and it's important now even the more. Another thing, a lot of times when we're going into grocery stores now, we're seeing empty shelves, and that can cause a panic within us that makes us want to buy all the toilet paper, all the canned goods, all the soups, all the food. But again, if you have your list, make sure that you have a list of the things that you actually need and that you stick with that list. So don't let the panic of the season, don't let other people's panic stir you to put things in your cart that don't belong there. Make sure that you're only buying things that you will actually use. So if there are certain things that you're seeing and you're just grabbing them in a haste, and you put them in your cabinet and they stay there for 6 months, 8 months, and you end up throwing them away, that's just wasted money. So buy things that you're actually going to consume and actually going to use. Another thing is to buy ingredients, buy staples that you can use to create different meals with, as opposed to only buying one processed or packaged meal at a time that will only serve for one serving or perhaps 2 servings. Get things like flour that you can use to turn into pasta or bread or cookies, something that you can use across multiple recipes that'll cost less per unit. All right, so one often overlooked important thing that you can use to save money on your grocery bill is using cash back apps like Ibotta that will give you cash for purchasing certain items when you upload your receipt. So I've been using Ibotta for a long time. I really enjoy using it. I get a lot, money, cash back for my grocery purchases. I'm gonna drop my referral link in the description box. Click on that link, sign up, and we'll both get a bonus. And for your online purchases, a great cashback website is Rakuten. And I have also been using Rakuten for a long time. It used to be called Ebates, now they're calling it Rakuten. I also have a referral link for that. So I'm gonna drop that in the description box. Click on that, sign up, and we'll both get a little sign up bonus. And when you do your shopping, when you're online or at the grocery store, you can save some coins. So the second thing is especially important if you are feeling some financial strain right now. If you're feeling strained, a lot of companies are willing to work with their customers and their clients on their payments. So call your creditors, call your credit card company, your energy company, your car insurance company, and see if there's anything that they can do to either completely forgive your payment or defer it farther out, so that you can focus on maintaining your essential needs, your food, your shelter, water, gas in your car. Make sure that those essential needs are covered. And if you're able to push back some other payments, either for a few months or as the company, if they can do away with it altogether, even better. I will just say it's important to keep in mind that there is a difference between a forbearance and a forgiveness. So if your company says that they'll grant you a forbearance for some of your payments, that's great news, but do keep in mind that you will have to pay that back after the set time period. So because so many companies are seeing the devastation that this pandemic is causing on a lot of people, they're more willing than normal during normal times to work with you. But sometimes you won't know unless you call. So don't be afraid. Pick up that phone and give them a call and just say, hey, I'm falling on some harder financial times right now. Is there any way that you can do anything for me? Can you delay this payment? Can you cancel this payment? All right, so the third thing is maybe something that we don't always think about when it comes to our finances, but I guarantee it does affect your finances, and that's your emotions. I've seen a lot of people talk about how they're really bored during this time, and then also during this time of isolation. I know a lot of people are experiencing acute depression and sadness and really feeling like they're completely on their own, and that is a really real place. but watch out for how that would prompt you, how that might affect the purchasing decisions that you make. So if you find yourself scrolling Amazon or Target or online sites just buying and buying and buying without even thinking about whether or not you need that, just take a pause and take inventory to see if maybe there's an emotional check that you need to do. Very often when we're feeling depressed, when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling fearful, and even when we're feeling joyful, that can sometimes cause us to make decisions that we normally that aren't always the best for us logically. Also, if boredom is the problem, find other ways, free ways to maintain your engagement and maintain being entertained. A lot of companies and a lot of music artists and entertainers are actually doing things on Instagram. They're having free concerts. I've seen celebrities do readings for children. Michelle Obama was doing a reading. LeVar Burton was doing a reading. And then there are other resources that you can find on websites like Udemy and Coursera. Often you can find courses for free, and they're really, anything that you can think of. It's not necessarily something academic if that's not your style. You can find things on writing or music lessons. So there's a ton of free resources that you can take advantage of right now to curb your boredom so that you don't break your bank. The fourth thing that I want to share is that it's really important right now to get intentional with your finances, and that includes my favorite word in the world, which is a budget. If you've never made a budget, this is a great opportunity to start creating one. And ideally, you want to make a unique budget every month or every pay period, whatever that means to you. Now, for those of you who are frightened by the concept of making a budget or being on a budget is simply a plan. It doesn't mean that, you're hitting yourself on the hand every time you try to buy ice cream, although for some people it might. But the real premise of it is you're setting an intention in terms of what you want to do to your money. You're not waiting for the month to happen to you. You're not waiting for your money to happen to you, but you're happening to your money, and you're saying, this is my goal. These are my financial goals. These are my life goals. And this is how my money and my finances can help me achieve those things. So this is my set plan for this paycheck during this time period. So if you need help making a budget, it's something that I really love sharing how to do. I have a video on that. I'll post a link right up here so you can see that. Before I share the fifth and final tip, I want to give you a few more resources if you're interested in more information. I'll post in the description box below two things. The first is an article that shares more on this very topic. And secondly, I had a great conversation with top DC realtor Erica S. Black. So I also shared that link in the description box below. The fifth and final tip that I will share up here is about generosity. A lot of us have been hit hard by the COVID-19 situation, but some of us continue to receive a regular pay. And if you're in that fortunate second group, I would encourage you to think about ways that you can be a blessing to those around you who are hurting a little bit more. So think about donating to your local food bank. Think about local charities who are helping people right there in your community who are struggling. And also think about nonprofits in your local church and charities that you would normally give to that might be hurting a little bit more now because of decreased donations. So for me, when I think about my own personal financial planning, I think about it in these four areas: saving, spending, growing, and giving. And that last one is really important right now because of how many people are hurting right now. So don't neglect to continue to give if you're able to. All right, those are just a few tips that I have. There's more information in the article. I will share that in the link below. So check that out on my website, debtfreesweetie.com. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you love it, you can subscribe. Share it with a friend that you think it can help. You can also connect with me on social media. You can find me everywhere at debtfreesweetie. And for more information, check out debtfreesweetie.com, where I am encouraging and inspiring you to be debt-free yourself. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. You can leave your comment in what is it called? Let anyone else's panic affect you.